We were all dressed up, all ready, excited about this high-profile first release for our new company. And everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong.
Moses Babatope co-founded Filmhouse Group, the largest cinema chain in West Africa. He is now CEO of Nile Media Entertainment Group. But in 2014, on the night that was supposed to announce him to Nigeria, he wanted to disappear.
Throughout the entire film, you saw a picture that was pixelated and shaky and sound that was muffled all through.
In the premiere?
In the premiere. Beyond ground opening up, it was like I should just disappear and not reappear.
This was Half of a Yellow Sun, one of the most anticipated Nigerian films ever made. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Genevieve Naji, Nigeria's most distinguished guest in the room, and it was all on him.
There were tears, there were palpitations, there was huge embarrassment, there was shame. Thinking about it now, it was a horror story, and it's 12 years now.
In this episode of Growth Through Failure, Moses shares what that night taught him about ownership, resilience, and how one disaster shaped everything he built after.
We're live. Eshel.
Great to see you, brother.
Eshel, thank you very much. Thank you very much, because this has been a long time in waiting.
Absolutely.
But we're finally there. So I'm just going to get straight to it.
Please.
What is a failure or setback story you're sharing with us today?
You know, that's a very, very interesting question that I think is useful and kind of instructive in the phase I am, of life right now. And it takes me back to 2014 when we just started Film One.
Okay.
At the time. And it was our first release. The film then was called Half of Yellow Sun.
Of course.
And, Half of Yellow Sun had a big profile.
Yeah.
Huge, Nigerian British star Chiwetel Ejiofor, Sandy Newton, Genevieve Naji, the late Onyeka Onwenu, and the likes. And this was a new company. I was given the chance to release this film, and we went through several obstacles to get the film in the right format. It ought to be shown. At the time, it was the 35 we call it 35 millimeter print.
Okay.
So almost like for portable cameras, you had the Kodak prints and all of that. So film also had that kind of print. It was just more of a bigger size. And we were supposed to show it there. We didn't have the labs that could process those in Nigeria. So we ordered in India.
Oh, wow.
Got it here. Did all the tests, that we thought we needed to get done. Because there was going to be a very high-profile premiere. I remember very vividly at the Silverbird Galleria. And you would not believe it. We were all dressed up, all ready, excited about this high-profile first release for our new company. And everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong with our high-profile screening of this film.
God, what were the main things that went wrong?
So the actual presentation of the film, sound and visual. So you can imagine throughout the entire film, you saw a picture that was pixelated and shaky and sound that was muffled all through and you could barely hear.
In the premiere?
In the premiere. Like it was beyond ground opening up, it was like I should just disappear and not reappear. Like, how do you say this in a screen that had the likes of Mr. Foladiola, that had the likes of, Yewande Sadiku, who was the EP, had very prominent, distinguished Nigerians, for probably the highest profile Nigerian film of that era, of that time. And these are supposed to be the professionals from England, starting their new company. And they better hire on us. Remember, we're also coming into an arena that had Silverbird, who were a lot more established than ourselves. I was leading the team. I was founding pioneer at the time, executive director of the group. Even though we're not a group there, but leading the operations for Film One, essentially set it up. and this was the film. Everything from the strategy, release plan, to the marketing, to getting prints, all of that. It was my responsibility.
So, what specific emotions? I can only
I
imagine.
can't be like. There were tears.
You were experiencing.
There were tears. There were palpitations.
God.
There was huge embarrassment. There was, shame. There was incompetence.
Oh God.
All sorts, negligence. I mean, there was no kind of how do I call it now, excuse that would be tenable. This was a film that's shown in global film festivals. It's shown in Toronto International Film Festival. No issues. It's shown went around the world, and it was coming to its home country, homeland.
Yeah.
And the first ever public screening under your watch was a disaster.
And what strategies?
What do you
were
begin to remedy? I think the first thing was to take ownership. That if the buck stops with me, you can't pass it on to anyone. I mean, there are a number of people down the value chain that could have done their work better. But look, it was a new company. We're barely 3 people.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it stuck with me. I was the one coming with distribution expertise from abroad. My colleagues also, of course, worked and in exhibition, but I was the one that had an inside knowledge of how prints and all of that worked and could be ordered. I'd done that before and all of that. So, it was taking responsibility of it, offering sincere apologies, offering to remedy it with subsequent screenings, but the damage had been done. The good news, or the what made it a little better, is some of the people in the room had seen the film and of course know about the quality of the film, so they knew that it was a technical issue. We couldn't pass the buck or blame it on our host, but it couldn't be that. So it was one of, take responsibility, be very, very clear to your clients, about the drop of the ball and the mistakes that were made, and just reassure them that that it's still in competent hands, and this was unfortunate, and this will be corrected.
And did you receive any support or guidance during that time?
I had very strong partners at the time, strong partners that were bold and had been used to dealing with disappointments, and I have to give them a lot of credit for taking it as a team. So they didn't leave me to dry or hang me to dry. We stood up as a team. Just at the time, we always used to go into a lot of things as a team. The combination of us was very strong. One person was a visionary, one person was great with strategy, and I was very strong on operations and relationship management.
Nice.
So we the combination of us, this was unfortunate, and we were all wearing the same thing that day, partner. So imagine wearing the same thing, and so it's a way of announcing ourselves. And unfortunate, and it was just unfortunate that it all went belly up that way. But I had a lot of support. Like I said, we took it as that it was the shortcoming of a team than just one person.
And what would you say your 3 key takeaways are for the audience?
Oh, very, very, very big takeaways. For me, never leave anything to chance. It made me a lot more hands-on. Some people might criticize or might say hands-on would also take you away from strategic thought and bird's eye view and all of that. But for the kind of job and for the kind of profession it was, and because we're starting off, it was important to be a lot more hands-on and ensure that the process of getting films like that to screen was a lot more thorough. Had required a lot more rigor in terms of just supervising from end to end. And I think once we put that layer in, I was very, very vested with premieres and how our presentations would be on screen. I'll be very much interested in what trailers are going to play on screen, what adverts are going to play. Very much interested in asking our projectionist, have we tested sound? Are we having any pixelation? So those were things I learned about that process. And
so one being hands-on, what were the other 2, you'd say?
Yes, so one being hands-on, two being two making sure people are accountable, and know exactly what they're supposed to do. I'd say those two things are
Those are the
key
two
things
key
that really
ones.
stand out. Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe no amount of reruns or rehearsals are too much. So even if it meant just before the program starts, just a final run through. I would love to do that. Although I must commend that with a 35 kind of presentation, it would have been hard to do that.
It would have been hard, yeah.
Because you would have to set the print again and all of that. But run throughs now in a digital era is almost like standard.
Well, boss.
Thank
man.
you. That was, thinking about it now, it was a horror story, Tosi. And it's interesting because I've never told this story in my professional, and it's 12 years now. Yeah. I've not ever told this, so, but it's very instructive. Like I said, it's very instructive to reflect on how far one has come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
It's not the end. It's not over. Until
Never
it's
over. Yeah, because honestly, if we had a bad run, and I mean the press went all out for us and everything, we could have destroyed the new company even before it started.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that was enough to sink us.
Exactly. We thank God, man.
Thank God, exactly, absolutely.
And now we're gonna move on to those rapid fire questions for
Okay,
the
cool.
audience to get to know you a bit
All right,
more.
cool, for sure.
The first one I'm gonna ask you
Yeah.
is, I'm not gonna do the book one.
Okay.
They're gonna cut that off.
Yeah.
Is, what's a quote you live by, if any at all?
What's a quote I live by? It's a quote from a film I love.
Okay.
My brother, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Gladiator, big film.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
man.
that would be a big film.
Why does that resonate with you?
I mean, I just feel like I'm a Christian. It's so clear for me that I must live a life that is worthy, life that is impactful, and all that I'm doing, the combination would have a bearing on the afterlife.
And I'll say, in terms of, like, I've known you for years,
Yes.
and the way you comport yourself, particularly in an industry that has certain stereotypes as to how people comport themselves,
Yeah.
is second to none. It's amazing, boss, man.
Thank you very much, Tosi. And you know how we grew up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how we grew up. So we had no choice. Exactly. So those of us that chose to be principled,
But you stayed the path.
Yeah. It's important to kind of just stay the course, and I'm grateful for your kind words, and
It's true.
yeah, and we want our children to also imbibe that and hopefully be better than ours.
Exactly, man. Who inspires you regularly?
So I have am I allowed to mention 3 or 5?
Of course.
Yeah, because there are people that I really look at, and I'm kind of amazed by them and what they do. They're international and they're local folks. There's a guy called Charles D. King.
Okay.
And you can research him.
Yeah.
He's an African American executive, talent manager. He worked for William Morris and Endeavor. One of probably the first guy to make partner at a major talent agency in Hollywood.
Okay.
Charles D. King, honestly, really amazed by, again, somebody that stands out in mainstream Hollywood. Has a great family. Believe he has 2 sons. Leads essentially, I would say, the first kind of end-to-end black studio.
Wow.
From talent management to film financing or content financing, to development, to even a sense of distribution and international collaborations. I've had the opportunity to speak to him once as well. I was introduced to him by another good friend of mine who they work together, James Lopez, as well. These are juggernauts when it comes to international film business. Those two inspire me greatly, and I'm just grateful to have a relationship with them.
That's what's up.
So awesome, and a big shout out to them. Hopefully they get to see this. Other people that inspire me, Chude Noah inspires me with the depth of his intelligence, and his thought process, and how ingrained he's so passionate about Nigeria and Nigerians and Africa, and how he's done it for such a long time, for such a young person, So I'm inspired about in the same age bracket, and what they've done with the Future Awards, what it's done with various publications, done with advising presidents,
It's
and
been
all
around
of that.
for
Yes, for
ages.
ages. So Chude and I never get to see each other as often as we ought to, but when we see, I'm always like, man, there's so much more for me to learn. Yeah. Then I have, my sister Moni Oboli, who is a big standout in the film industry. Moni, family person, multi-talented, super kingdom focused person as well. And someone that's just always believed in me and a big supporter of my new endeavors now, and always keen to drop a line or two, and the list is endless. Moabudu, Funke Akindele, for various things that they do in their side. Debola Williams, and I'm not just dropping names. These are people that in my circle, Bankele Wellington. People I see and I draw inspiration from.
You're not an island, man.
Yeah,
you cannot
exactly.
be an island.
So I'm inspired by all these guys, and there are a few probably I might not be able to come to mind now as we're interviewed, but because I see them, I work with them closely, and and they really, they get me to think of life very differently and how to be better in life.
What's the one skill you think everyone should have?
Woo! What's the one skill? So my superpower is relationship management. You don't the work I do and I've kind of built a career of. You don't get to be successful at it without knowing how to kind of deal with human beings.
Absolutely.
And without showing that you care about what they care about. And that you also have the understanding that people are different, and they would react to things differently. Should everybody have relationship management skills? I think the world would be a better place if they did. If we did, so I think that in leadership, relationship management is very, very important.
If you weren't in your current profession,
Yeah.
what do you think you would be doing?
So I studied money banking and finance at Middlesex University Business School, and also international finance at masters. A lot of people are always like, really? What are you doing in film and all of that? And I did CFA. I did Chartered Financial Analyst program. I did it twice. I think after the second time I knew that okay, maybe this is not for me.
That thing is tough.
Like
man.
very tough, bro.
It's tough.
But shout out to all the investment bankers and
it's tough, man.
people in capital markets and all of that stuff. Man, you guys, well done. Yeah. I mean all the work that goes into that, like and studying. But I think I'd have worked in the financial markets. And at the time I was really passionate about it. I don't know what I even mentioned to you whilst we were growing up. Like we wanted to work in Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Like, we really wanted to be an investment banker. Work at the time it was Lehman Brothers that had in my sight.
Okay.
Yeah, but they fucked up. Yeah, but yeah. But yeah,
One of my cousins
and I was not
ended
even.
up there.
I didn't live far from there. We used to live in. We were in Rotherhithe.
Oh yeah.
Rotherhithe, Surrey Keys. So it was a few stops to Canary Wharf. Yeah.
Oh God, Lord.
Yeah.
One of my cousins, Bumi,
Okay.
was working at Lehman Brothers.
okay.
Yeah, also did the CFA just before.
Oh,
and then he
wow.
was one of the people that left.
Interesting.
Oh God, it was
My
something.
good friend Larry McKelly, shout out Larry, who also worked with Lehman for a
Oh
while.
God,
Yeah,
it was something.
something else.
What's something you've learned about yourself in this past year?
Oh wow! And this past few years it's been a roller coaster, right? Different challenges and different wins and highs and lows and all of that. I didn't know that I had thick skin, resilience, to face some adversity, some very unforeseen, lows, and then some really, really great highs, and just being able to stay calm and stay focused. Because sometimes the highs can distract you,
Yeah.
and the lows can discourage you. So being able to just maintain a sense of focus and just know that everything will be fine, and also calibrate your faith. And when I say calibrate your faith, because depending on what you go through, faith can be affected. So just knowing that things will be fine. That's been a great experience.
And what's one habit you're trying to build and another you're trying to break?
What's one habit I'm trying to build? I would say I want to be able to read more. I want to be able to
That's
read
why I
more.
didn't ask
Yes.
you what
Yes,
book.
one book. Because guess what? I read one book to the end, and I'm happy about it. And I should mention it. Mechanics of Yenogua.
Oh, no.
Yes, I read Mechanics of
Somebody's
Yenogua.
mentioned this book to me,
And a
actually.
great author. I'm sorry that I'm forgetting his name, but my friend Michael Ndiomu, filmmaker, introduced me to the book, and I finished the book, and it was enjoyable. And I really wanted to make the book into a film.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really vividly portrayed, and I honestly, I kind of saw myself immersed into wanting to live in Bielsa. Yeah, and that was really, really good. But I want to be able to read more. But in the age of technology, I guess I don't have to read like audiobooks
exactly.
and all of that. Just to kind of just get different perspectives.
And
And what am I trying to break off?
Yeah.
Just to get better kind of work-life balance. I'm a workaholic. I'm always working. I'm always working, always thinking, or thinking about work.
You should try it.
Yeah.
You're still married, happily married.
Yes.
Thank God.
I am
With kids.
Yes, with
Thank
kids.
God.
Yeah.
But that is hard.
Yes.
It's
tough.
hard to
Yeah.
find that balance.
Balance. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, dead or alive,
Oof.
who would that be, and why?
Historical figure I'd like to have dinner with. One is recent. I would really like to engage MK Abiola.
Oh,
I would love to engage
oh
him
wow!
on.
I've got
on
some
his-
books to recommend to you, or audio books in terms of that.
Okay, good. I'd like to engage him on his vision for Nigeria and why he was just so passionate and selfless that he would risk his life. I just really want to get into his mind and also understand how entrepreneurship worked in his era. I thought it was phenomenal. I did have front row seats when it came to him. My father worked for him.
Oh,
closely. Yeah, a lot of people
wow.
don't know that. Worked very closely with him.
Oh wow!
At National Concord, and knew him well, but I was young.
Wow!
So yeah, so we knew about the June 93 struggle and all that. But I was 10.
Yeah,
but I'm just fascinated by him. A documentary is coming out soon, made by a big brother of mine, Mr. Jose Oyemadan, that really kind of delved more into to who the man was and what he stood for. And yeah, that's somebody I'd love to.
Okay.
Definitely.
And the final.
I hope it's okay to call him historical.
I mean,
I think yeah. Another person maybe I should mention Mozart, because the musician Mozart is something I was just fascinated by
prodigy,
musical being a prodigy and musical history. I wonder what we'll be saying, how I came up with those things, but yeah, that's another person just by virtue of my hobby.
And final question:
Yeah.
what does success mean to you?
These are very, very interesting questions. What does success mean to me?
It gets you thinking. These
It gets you
questions,
really
doesn't it?
thinking. For me, success would be being credited or referenced for an innovative solution, for being at the forefront of some kind of achievement that solved a big problem or transformed the sector. you know, that is, for me, that's the definition of success, right? Where you're remembered for playing a key role, pivotal role, or part of the people, part of the team that, you know, that pushed for or ensured a solution was had to a major problem.
That's what's
And that's what I'm trying to achieve in my endeavors working in film and media.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Thank you for your time, bro, man. Really appreciate it. Long time in coming. We made it happen.
Thank you so much, and I want to celebrate you and thank you for doing this. It's been a really great time, and it's amazing. People don't know at our childhood and going to the same church,
Yeah.
and just maintaining contact and
All these years,
and
30
yeah, all
years.
30 plus years, yeah. And thank God for life and health, and thank God that we can impact the world through conversations like this. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Muyu. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Growth Through Failure, where we overcome failure one story at a time. Enjoy the episode, then like, subscribe, and share with your circle. Remember, failure is a stepping stone to success. So stay resilient, stay curious, and embrace the power of failure.